Hyper Light Drifter is fundamentally a game about dying. It's a hard game, requiring skill and practice and conscious effort to master. But the more you play it, the more you realize it's not so much about dying in battle. The world has died, is dying. The inhabitants have died, are dying. Before we even take control, the Drifter is dying. They are a capable being, skilled with their sword and quick on their feet. Until the moments when they aren't, when their body can't push through to something that is wrong. The thing that makes them hack up red as they stumble and fall to their knees with pain as vision glitches and they momentarily lose control as an evil approaches while they kneel there helpless to fight back. We see this scene again, and again, and again. Each time that they push towards the next objective, the next big barrier to overcome, they again falter. And each time we see how much harder it is to get back up, and how much closer the waiting beast gets. But we keep trying, they keep trying, I keep trying. The pain is visible and visceral. Each death is quick and fleeting, but filled with such violence that the impact is still there. As with so many games, these small deaths are not the end of things. Single-life systems do not make for enjoyable experiences, except for the most extreme and skilled players. Even as we watch the Drifters struggle back to their feet, clearly in pain from the defeat, we have to get back up and keep trying. It is part of the joy of the experience to learn and grow and finally succeed. Eventually, we might be good enough to never die, to never even get hit, except we would still have the visions, horrible moments, always after some kind of victory, where the stalking beast catches up and completely annihilates us in the cruelest ways it can. The Drifter always wakes up, it having been nothing but a phantom, but the pain from that encounter is still real and fresh, and blood pools beneath. These moments are unavoidable. Not even a perfect player can escape them. And as we see repeatedly, so is the Drifter's pain. We make a friend on our journey, a mentor in the endless struggle whom many refer to as the Guardian. In each area we find them clearly struggling with their own illness, their own pain, but still putting in the effort to give support and encouragement and wisdom. They share their story with us, and we feel a little less alone. These moments of camaraderie remind me that the struggle is always present, always happening, whether or not we can see it through the front of strength so many put on. Hyper Light Drifter is not exactly written to be a game about chronic pain. It's actually a much stronger metaphor for the inevitability of death, particularly for someone who is terminally ill. My personal thoughts and interpretation of the game as a whole are really well covered in this phenomenal video essay by Harrison Consoli from a couple years ago. I highly recommend it for a much deeper dive into the themes and story from that viewpoint, as I think it really captures the nuances in some truly insightful ways. But for me, the thing that still always stands out is the pain. I am not terminally ill. There is no ticking clock or looming switch that hangs over me in that way. But those moments where I see the Drifter double over, trying their hardest to hold it together just a little while longer, even as the coughs make it near impossible to continue, those are the moments that speak to me. These moments of pain unable to be held back or hidden. I've spent a lot of time in that state, particularly in the last couple of years. I see the things ahead of me I want, need to conquer. But at any given step, I might instead collapse under the strain of it. My perseverance means nothing if my body cannot handle it. At the end of the game, we fight and defeat the monster that has been haunting us, destroy the thing that has been poisoning the world, poisoned us. It was a hard battle, and the Drifter is struggling to escape the crumbling depths, exhausted and hurting, but not as a result of injuries sustained while attaining their victory. Every few steps, they are racked with even more coughs, staggering slowly forward as blood pools behind. They make it out to a campfire, a place to rest after so long fighting and fighting and fighting. They sink down against a stone, blood trailing behind. And then they die as the world collapses around them. I think about this moment a lot. I think about when my moment will come. There are days I too want to rest at a comforting fire and not have to think about getting up again. It is so very tiring to always be fighting the monsters, and I am so very tired. The Drifter's journey is one we all have to take at some point. The inevitability of death is a thing that is both difficult to reckon with and difficult to fully grasp, and some people stumble more than others. The drifter has no journey after their acceptance of that fact, but all of us still do. That M was going to come eventually. It just happened to be then. But had it not been, and they had pushed past that, continued living for even a short while longer, we know the pain would still be there. The acceptance of death brings a form of closure, but it doesn't fix anything. For me, it was easy to accept the inevitability of the beast, the logical next step of the new information I had about my health. But I had still always suffered in silence, and it was the closure that allowed me to begin to face it and reveal it. I have come to terms with the end, although I am still struggling to come to terms with the unrelenting reality of my pain. The Guardian, our peer and friend, reminds us that there are people who are willing to help, even if they're struggling with their own battles, and that it is not a burden to reach out. If you look at the world of Hyperlight Drifter in the most surface-level fashion, you still see a community of potential support, people who have found their way out of the conflicts to band together. If the Drifter had survived, maybe they too could have built a new life full of that support. And even though they didn't, it doesn't mean we can't.